Boris Johnson is Prime Minister. Recently, I realized that when I first made this channel, I really, quite badly shot myself in the foot. It was ages ago, I was a lot younger, and I had no fucking clue what I was doing. But, well, when I made it, I was thinking about ideas. I mean, originally I wanted to call it bloody Delta Games, but then I looked it up and realized, oh, wait, hang on. There's about, 3 billion people who have done it themselves. And then I was like, ooh, what about this? The Game League. Kind of like Justice League. And then I looked it up and was like, there's pretty much no one getting on that. And now, a few years later, I'm looking back and I'm realizing I'm not good at it. The kind of video I enjoy doing has kind of shifted away. Don't get me wrong, I still love games, I play them a lot, but I've realized that I'm not great at the whole solo commentary thing. I'm not that engaging. It was something I've been doing. I did a few live streams a while ago. I mean, most of them were I played through the entirety of Zone of the Enders 2 on the PS4, but that was more of just what was is that one of my friends was trying to get me to play it, and there was no way I could exactly screen share my PS4, so my solution was just to stream it to YouTube and he could watch the stream whilst I play it. And I ended up doing the entire game on the channel. So that was okay. But then I did one stream which was me playing Detroit Become Human for a few hours. That was pretty good because the advantage with Detroit is because it's so story-based, my commentary isn't as required as it could be in other things. Like, for instance, the Spider-Man video, I tried incredibly hard. I never shut up, which is one of the biggest issues of that video. It ended up being, so long because I couldn't cut stuff out because I just kept talking. And that's a real problem I have with the whole commentary thing, which is why the fact that I named my channel The Game League really annoys me at times, because I completely shot myself in the foot. If I do anything else, it doesn't fit. Gaming will always be an aspect of this, but I want to be able to I want to be able to do other stuff. I want to be able to talk about more than just, oh, here's a game I was playing, here's a commentary about a game I was playing, stuff like that. Because right now, the political climate in the UK, oh boy. Other stuff, the climate in the tech industry, all the weird amount of politics going on with Huawei, for instance. I mean, all the tariffs and whatnot, and the multi-tangerine in charge of America trying to stuff them down and accuse them of spying on everyone, even though they haven't. But, God, there's so much I like talking about. I talk about it all the time to my to friends and whatnot, but I like the idea of being able to just record myself nattering on about it, like putting down notes. I suppose it's a way of putting down what I think in a tangible form, rather than just having it in my head and then trying to explain it to people every time and it just changing around and I'm never quite sure what I'm thinking. It's like writing down your ideas. I like doing that in audiovisual form. I make these videos because I find it fun, because I enjoy it. I like video editing. It makes me sound really lazy or really annoyed that I have to explain things. No, I like talking. Talking is fun, but I have been doing a bit less of it recently than I did when I was, say, 2 years younger. Because when I was 2 years younger, I was a jackass. But so this has not got much structure to it because I don't have a script. I don't have like I said, there's a docket, which basically means I want to talk about shit. I'm just nattering on. After this, not after the video, but after this section, I'm gonna start talking about specific topics. I love the fact I can do title cards. It's great. Especially that video I did a while ago, Suri, was I thought it was fun. I feel like there's tiny little bits in here and there that I could have fixed, because I had some ideas, but not all of them really worked out. You get what I mean. But in this, I want to try and make this work. So I'm gonna do a bit more talky videos from now on. At least that's the plan. Less just gaming commentary videos, because I've got a couple video ideas in my head. A lot of my older videos, I realized I'm not quite as proud of as when I first made them. Very much so in the earlier ones. I mean, look at my first video I made, for God's sake. I'm just nattering on, trying to sound professional, when all I'm recording is just my screen when I've got a JPEG open of my channel art back then. It's atrocious. And I'm well aware that my channel art used to change like every 5 seconds. Now I've changed it to something that I'm going to keep it that way for a while. Because, well, it fits the kind of stuff I like at the moment. From when I first made the channel, I feel I've changed as a person substantially. Mainly because I actually hit fucking puberty. And I became less of a jackass in recent years. I'd like to think I'm less of an idiot now than I was back then, but then again, I'm not as cocky to say I'm not an idiot at times. I am very naive, but I'd rather be naive and then be cynical, because I prefer thinking that stuff will go okay than thinking stuff is all going to go horrible. Especially in today's political climate. More on that later. So, I'm going to wrap this part up by saying I'm going to do more other videos than just game commentaries, but I will try and make more videos when I'm playing with, say, a friend or something like that, because then I feel I can make that work a lot better. And also some of the stuff I get up to with my friends on games is ridiculous. It goes weird at times. So, that's the plan. Currently in the UK, we have a wonderful situation of having a person who is essentially a miniature Donald Trump as our Prime Minister. And this miniature Donald Trump, his name is Alexander Boris Depfeffel. I'm struggling to say his bloody name. Alexander Boris Depfeffel Johnson. Alexander Boris Depfeffel Johnson. Oh yeah, he was also born in the Upper East Side of New York. Christ on a bloody bike. And this guy is very pro-Brexit, and he's also for a no-deal Brexit, which is essentially economic suicide for the UK to go through with that, because most of the trade that works, the way our economy, we are linked to in the European Union, so everyone trades with each other. It's a wonderful thing. The single market, beautiful, perfect-ish. Get more on that in a minute. But if we just cut it off, we are losing so much of our trade. We just cripple our economy. Purely for the sake of people being idiots, old people, and assholes, and also a crap ton of misinformation. A deal Brexit is probably the best option for Brexit. Honestly, I feel like Brexit just shouldn't happen. There is probably a better solution than Brexit to fixing the problem that Right, the thing with the European Union is that we went into it, everyone went into it, it's supposed to be an economic union and nothing more, but slowly it's become more of a political union with laws enforced all throughout every part of the union. I mean, look at Article 13, for example. But I don't think that leaving is such a good idea. But then again, what the hell do I know? I'm just a random twat living on a small Scottish island that anyone outside of Scotland hasn't really heard of, nattering to a microphone in his bedroom on the last day of the summer holidays. I like to think that I can research things, but at the same time, my opinion, I'm very naive. I said earlier I was very naive. I just like I prefer being naive. I like the idea that I'm just a big Star Trek fan. That's it. I'm just such a big Trekkie that I've become so naive that I believe that everything can end up well. Sadly, not that is very rarely the case, but I need to live with that. On the other hand, we all politics in the UK. We also have a stronger fight than probably ever for Scottish independence, or Scoot. Scottish out. Scoot. It's a lovely name. It's better than Brexit, even though everyone keeps calling it breakfast, and it's hilarious on the news listening to someone say breakfast, oh, Brexit. But no, Scottish independence, I personally am for it because currently England is dragging everyone through the mud. When it came to the Brexit vote, all of Scotland voted to stay, all of Wales voted to stay, London voted to stay, everyone else in England ended up voting to leave. But because England has more constituencies than Scotland and Wales and London combined, we're leaving. It was such a close call. If I remember correctly, it was 52% for. It was such a close call, and it's unbelievable. And people are fighting for a second referendum, which is probably a good idea. It is a good idea, but there was so much misinformation going around, especially bloody Nigel Farage with that bloody bus that went around the UK going, oh, we give this much to the EU, how about we fund our NHS instead? And then when he was asked, he's like, can we actually do that with the money? He said no. Turns out he was talking out of his arse. That money would never even go to the NHS, regardless of if we left and he was in power, that wouldn't happen. And he's such a big mess. And it's painful, and it's also in some ways pretty depressing that we think we've come so far as a society, and then shit like this happens, and it's painful to watch, I think is the best way to put it. And for someone who isn't at all involved in politics, it's like watching two toddlers fight, but you can't do anything about it because they're in a glass box that you can't open. It's pretty much what it is. They scream and cry at each other and start hitting each other, and you're just sitting there very uncomfortable and wishing they'd stop. But fingers crossed, within the next couple of years, stuff will start to sort itself out. But when it comes to Brexit, stuff needs to sort out fucking quick. They scheduled Brexit for the October 31st, but they'd also schedule breakfast. I just did it. They also scheduled Brexit back in March, and then before that November, I believe, and then before that August. I'm not so sure about the last 2 months I just said, but I definitely know about March. That fell through. Never happened. I doubt it's going to happen on October either. Well, I would say I doubt it, but because of Big BJ's public support for a no deal, we might be going through for a hard Brexit, which will not end well. It's not going to end well. And I just hope that everyone else in Parliament can somehow hold back the tide. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but hey, fingers crossed, I suppose.